Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe, hit that notification bell so that when I post, you'll be the first person to know. And I just want to put a disclaimer to say I'm not a guru in any of the topics which I do deliver on this channel. But these are from my own observations, from my own experience, personal experience as a social worker or as a team manager for a while now. It's also from my own self-directed learning. So it's meant just to motivate somebody, give some bit of perspective, give some bit of information, but it's not meant to be taken as a source of information from a guru. Not it's completely not like that. So in today's topic, I'm just going to talk to you about the use of artificial intelligence in social work. I'll be looking at some of the things that I think artificial intelligence can actually help within our profession, but I'm also looking at the downside of using AI in social work. As you know, some of the local authorities have already embraced artificial intelligence in terms of the work that we do when it comes to minute taking, when it comes to recording meetings and coming up with minutes and stuff like that. But obviously, as we all know, AI generated content needs to be looked at some point to make sure that there is accurate information put on the files, there is accurate information which is being captured in those meetings, because it's not always the case that AI captures information correctly. And there are some issues where sometimes AI may not necessarily capture information for people who speak with an accent. For example, myself, I don't speak with an original British accent, so sometimes AI struggles to pick whatever I'll be saying in meetings. So those are some of the downsides. But I'm just going to look at about 7 or 8 points which I think would be beneficial for social work profession to embrace AI. For example, the first and foremost is AI is there to enhance our data analysis and also helps us in identifying trends and patterns in terms of the work that we do. When you talk about themes like urban youth violence, criminal exploitation, sexual abuse, physical abuse, and all those kind of things, AI is important in synthesizing that data, analyzing that data, and helps us to identify the trends and patterns in a way faster than what the human eye can actually do. That's point number one. Point number two, one of the advantages of using AI in social work is that it improves what we call resource allocation based on predictive analysis, based on predictive analysis or analytics of the information at hand. What I mean by this is, as you know, most local authorities work on locality-based models or work on I would say locality-based models. So it helps you to know that if, for example, area A is picking up more numbers than area Z, you are able to know where to put your resources more. You are able to know that area A may not necessarily need 5 teams, but it may need 6 or 7 teams, because area Z is picking far less cases or half of what area A is picking up. So there's no point in you making sure that there is 5 teams in area Z and there's 5 teams in area A when you know that area A is picking double the number that area Z is actually picking up. So it's AI can actually help you identifying how you can adequately allocate resources within your local authority. Point number two is the fact that AI helps in terms of making sure that we've got timely interventions through real-time monitoring of data, monitoring of information, and also real-time interventions in terms of work that can be turned around faster than what you would actually think when you don't have AI. For example, when it comes to capturing minutes of meetings and stuff like that, AI can actually help you, whereas you're supposed to be capturing information on a piece of paper and then put them on the system, which may take some time. AI can be able to capture all that information in a heartbeat and be able to actually give you that information, even though you will need to go back and look at it and make sure that it's the true record of what has happened in that particular meeting. But when you talk of timely interventions, AI can actually help the profession in making sure that we have timely interventions with our service users. The other point which is also important to take note of is the fact that when you use AI, there is a possibility of timely or availability of support and information, which can be 24 hours, 7 days, 24 hours, 7 days a week, really. Whether it's weekend, whether it's in the night, there can be support available when you're using AI. The other thing which is also quite important to take note of is the fact that AI can actually reduce repetitive tasks that we also do within our profession. It could be freeing up time for direct work or direct, intervention with our service users, with our young persons. So it's important to make sure that we actually free up social workers from the time that they will be doing other administrative or menial tasks within the profession, to free up that time to enable them to actually engage with families and engage with service users and the young people that they are working with. So it's actually important for us to be mindful that AI can actually reduce those repetitive tasks, those mundane tasks that we do almost on a daily basis. AI can actually do those tasks to free us up time to be able to focus more on engaging our service users. The other important thing is to make sure that when you incorporate AI in your work, it also offers what we call personalized recommendations for each and every client. AI can actually help you segregate the work that you are doing to make sure that your recommendations that you are making, or the work is streamlining the work that you are doing for a particular family or for a particular child in that household, rather than lumping everybody in that particular household. The other important thing that we can also be grateful for AI for is that the ability to work remotely anywhere in the world, anywhere where you can be. You don't necessarily need to be in the office. When you incorporate AI into your work, in the work that you do, you can actually work remotely. And in terms of work-life balance, it helps work-life balance as well. The other important thing is to make sure that there is improved documentation of work, as things can be turned around in time, whereas case notes can take time to be put on the system. When you use AI, it's important to make sure that it captures all those things, even though you need to go through, cross-check and make sure that everything is correct, but the turnaround time can actually be reduced in half, if not more than that. And it also helps you in record keeping and making sure that your information is accurate and it's actually descriptive and actually straight to the point in terms of things that you want to capture on that particular case. The other important thing, which will be important to mention, is that AI can also give you better access to historical data. When you ask AI to sift through information which is like pages and pages long, it can actually sift through that information and give you a summarized version of that particular information. Whereas what is going to take you 2 hours to read through that file, AI can actually half that time for you to be able to read through that file. Whereas you needed 2-3 hours, you can actually read it in 1.5 hours, or actually 1 hour, and you'll be able to sift through chunks and chunks of information. That's what AI can actually do if it's adopted, efficiently within our workspaces. Last but not least, in point number 10, AI actually increases efficiency in administrative tasks. I mentioned earlier on about tasks that can take you 10-20 minutes to do. With AI, you can actually do it in 5-10 minutes. You are done. Boom. You put it on the system. You move on to the next thing. And then the downsides of using AI, there are also downsides. Obviously, there are disadvantages and advantages in anything that we do. There's a risk of losing personal touch with client interactions when it comes to using AI, depending with how you can use it. But sometimes there's a risk that you actually lose personal touch with client interactions as well. And the other potential downside is potential data breaches and privacy privacy concerns. So there's issues around privacy and security concerns when it comes to AI handling the data, whereas it may end up lumping information in wrong files and stuff like that. So it's something that local authorities will need to be mindful of when it comes to using AI, making sure that whoever the end user will be able to actually make sure that they sift through information and make sure that information being put on particular files is for those particular individuals or for those particular service users. Otherwise, you might be having data breaches left, right, and center. There is also an initial high cost when it comes to initial setup with AI. As you know, it's not going to come free, especially when you want to use the professional bit of AI. It comes at a cost. So there is a cost involved and cost attached to local authorities when it comes to initial setup costs and so forth. There is also a dependence on technology which can lead to a higher risk of technological failures. When you have a technological failure, sometimes it hampers the work that needs to be done when people overly rely on technology. When it's down, you can't do anything. Just like, at the moment when we don't have paper files anymore, when the system is down, when there's no internet, you can't do anything. You just have to sit and wait until it comes back, and then you're able to actually upload your work. Some people can go on and do things on Microsoft Word, but when you don't have access to the files, sometimes what you can do and what you can't do, you're actually limited on what you can do. So there is that possibility. Another point is that there's also a risk of biases which can come up with us using AI when it comes to decision making. The decision making of AI obviously lacks that human touch, so it's important for us to be mindful of that as well. And the other important thing that we can also think about is the reduced employment opportunities for social workers, social worker assistants who may not necessarily be part of the teams because people are using AI. So there is that aspect as well that needs to be looked into. And the other important thing also to take note of is the ethical issues when it comes to decision making. Obviously, because we are using AI, there is that loss of human touch. So it's important for us to be mindful of that, and for us to know that there is that possibility that when you use non-human agents, the decision making can actually be challenged at the end of the day, because it's not made by humans, and sometimes you need to be sticking to those decisions, or you need to be checking through those decisions and making sure that you agree with them, or you need to be editing what you need to edit, and make sure that you come up with the correct information at the end of the day. The other downside of using AI is that it continuously needs maintenance and upgrades, which sometimes may hamper work when it comes to the fact that sometimes it can be down, or sometimes it may not necessarily be up and running all the times. The other important thing also to take note of, which is going to be the last point I'm going to be talking about, is that some clients may struggle to cope with how AI works, especially when it's inculcated in our meetings and stuff like that, for them to be able to follow, or for them to be able to follow exactly what's going on. Sometimes it's not all of them who might be attuned or who might be clued up to what's going on. So those are some of the things that we need to be mindful of as well. So as local authorities do adopt AI, it's about making sure that we test it out first before we can roll it out to the rest of the service. Test it out within the small parts of the service. Make sure that whatever needs to be fixed can be fixed before it's rolled out to the wider service. So I hope you have managed to grasp something out of this video today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you've got any comments, anything that you want to talk about this topic in terms of use of AI in social work, please put your comments in the chat box, and let's have an interaction. Let's have a chat. Let's have a talk about what you think, how you are using AI in your organization, and how it has been beneficial to you actually turning up your working time, or doing your work in terms of improving efficiency in your work. Thank you so much for tuning. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that when I post, you'll be the first person to know. Thank you so much.